Units of the Battle of Gettysburg. Ward and his sharpshooters take hold at Devil's Den. Brigadier General Hobart Ward's brigade was comprised of 8 regiments, most of whom had seen hard service over the previous year in the battles of the Peninsula, Second Bull Run, Fredericksburg, and Chancellorsville. This was attested by the fact that virtually all of them counted fewer than 250 men in their ranks, and several had less than 200. The corps of Ward's brigade consisted of 4 old veteran regiments: the 20th Indiana, the 3rd and 4th Maine, and the 99th Pennsylvania. A few months earlier they had been joined by the 86th and 124th New York of Whipple's now defunct 3rd Division. Although less experienced, both had seen heavy action at Chancellorsville. All proudly wore the symbol of the red diamond on their forage caps, known affectionately by the 1st Division as the Kearny patch, after their commander Phillip Kearny, killed leading his men at Second Bull Run. Ward also had under his command the 1st and 2nd U.S. Sharpshooters. These were elite units of expert marksmen dressed in green uniforms, who often served on detached duty. In fact, on July 2nd, both the 1st U.S. Sharpshooters and the 3rd Maine operated independently of Ward under Colonel Hiram Burden. They spent the early afternoon on July 2nd engaged in skirmish duty near the center of 3rd Corps' position. Ward's brigade arrived at the ridge at about 3:30 p.m. and was formed up into order of battle. Ward sent out the 2nd U.S. Sharpshooters under Major Homer R. Stoughton as skirmishers about a half-mile ahead. He then deployed 4 of his regiments over a space of about 450 yards along the crest of the ridge. Lined up shoulder to shoulder was the 20th Indiana on the right, followed by the 86th New York, 99th Pennsylvania, and 124th New York, which was situated just above Devil's Den. Much of the brigade was positioned in the woods. The only exception was the 124th New York and an adjacent company of the 86th New York, which were completely out in the open. Off to the right, separated by a gap of about 250 yards, lay Colonel Regis de Trobriand's 3rd Brigade. It was formed up along a stone wall and in some woods, with its rear lying at the edge of a large wheat field. No efforts were made to construct breastworks by any of these men. Soon thereafter, Ward's men were joined by Captain James E. Smith's 4th New York Battery, which was sent to support Birney's defense of this position. Smith quickly sized up the situation and decided to place 4 of his 6 10-pound Parrott rifles on the left side of Ward's brigade in the exposed area at the top of the ridge. Another section of 2 cannon, along with the battery's caissons and horses, were sent 150 yards further south and to the rear of Plum Run Valley to cover the left flank. It was difficult work because the rocky slopes were steep and the ridgeline contained little in the way of flat ground suitable for placing cannon. As these guns were moved into position, the first shots from Confederate cannon, located a half-mile distant, began to fall along the ridge. Seeing the logic of Smith's decision to cover the Devil's Den's flank, Ward sent off 9 of his 10 companies of the 4th Maine under Colonel Elijah Walker to bolster Smith's 2 detached guns. Picking their way down into the low marshy swale, these men formed a rough line in the midst of the boulders located on the northern rim of Devil's Den that stretched across the far side of the Plum Run. Wary of surprises, Walker then sent a company of skirmishers forward into the valley, while another squad was deployed to the left on the lower slopes of Round Top. It's your history. Learn it, know it, and love it.